Welcome back, everyone, to Morning After. You know, we love entrepreneurs. We love creativity. These are just a couple of examples of a local business owner who has a green thumb and a business sense, and both things have come together here in a very unique way. So we're going to have this coming up. She gets her plants at Rubles, by the way, Jenny. Rubles in the farmers market.
I think so many people can relate to this now that we've been home a little bit more. We've been looking into different plants and ways to beautify the home, and also the air purification qualities of plants. I mean, there are a lot of studies that show that just putting some plants in your house will actually be, well, significantly cheaper than an expensive air purifier, but just as effective. So I like this, and I also always celebrate a side hustle, which is basically what this is for her. Everyone's got to have a side hustle, I'm telling you.
Well, Malin Luke will tell you, she's joining us now live via Skype. She'll probably tell you as well that anybody can really learn to have a green thumb. Would you say, Malin, before you started this, were you a gardener by nature? Did you find yourself drawn to gardening? Did you know enough about it, did you think, going in?
So I actually bought my first plants about a little over 4 years ago. My husband and I received a gift card from our wedding, and it was for a local hardware store that had plants. And so we lived in an apartment at the time, and so I decided I was going to go buy $50 worth of plants. So that's kind of where it started, is buying plants then. And then kind of as I started to accumulate these plants, I started to realize that there wasn't a lot of affordable options for planters. And so that's kind of how this started.
So these are all poured concrete, right? So you put them in any mold or shape that you want. How do you come up with the designs for these? Because some of them are various shapes. I mean, modern, some are more traditional than others. How did you learn sort of the mechanics of that?
Sure. So working with concrete is super fun, super messy. So I tend to kind of go more modern with my style. So that's kind of why I chose concrete as the medium. But you know, when I'm making planters or have been making planters for friends and family, I kind of let me know what they want as well. So if they want more modern or they want something more traditional, I kind of go from there. I also have several molds that I use, but then I also kind of have started going towards more recyclable things. So I've made planters out of an old bleach container or other kind of older plant containers. So I can use those as molds too.
Oh, interesting. So you could take you could literally find like an old sort of decrepit planter, and you can remold it and shape it and make something new out of something old. So it's vintage, really, right? By appearance.
Well, yes. I mean, it can be. So I essentially would use that as the mold for the concrete. So it would kind of take on its new life.
All right. Where'd you come up with the name, Resting Plant Face? We've heard that used in a different way. Resting Face. Yes, we know.
Yeah. So it did come from that, which, as you know, or if you don't know, it's kind of based off someone who
always appears upset.
Yes, naturally doesn't smile, even if they are happy. So I was kind of brainstorming with a friend who has a blog, and she's really great at that type of thing. And we came up with Resting Plant Face. But in this way, it kind of is a play off of when you have a plant and maybe that plant doesn't survive, and that face you make when that happens.
Jenny?
I think that's so cute. Okay.
On that note.
Right, yeah. On that note, we bring in Jenny. I'm just curious, as a newbie to the plant world, and I love your backstory about how you got
plant parent.
A new plant parent. What are the best practices? Is there like a 1, 2, 3 to follow if you're just kind of getting into plants and succulents specifically?
So I would say you can't go wrong with a succulent or a cactus. They have a better survival rate because they kind of thrive on neglect. So I always tell people to kind of start there, and then you can kind of work your way up as you keep a plant alive onto something, you know, a little bit harder, like a fiddle fig.
They thrive on neglect, Jenny. I don't know. It sounds like
that's my suggestion.
Sounds like my last relationship. I was thriving on neglect, apparently. until you just can't anymore and you need a drink of water. So I love this. I love this idea of starting your own business as well. Explain to people though, because we're here doing a television segment and it's glossy and beautiful, and we're talking about the bright side of being a business owner. Talk to me about one of the challenges. Was there a challenge that you faced that you would say to a new business owner, be prepared for this, don't get impatient about that? What would you say?
Well, I would say first and foremost, keep it simple as possible. Plants are a passion of mine. I've always kind of had this creative bug. So I would say, look for something that's your passion, that you're going to be passionate about day in and day out. I think definitely right now during COVID, it is going to be a little bit harder to start a business. However, there is a push to kind of shop local and support local right now. So I think there is definitely a market for that as well. So also use social media. It's a free tool
Yes,
that can get your business out there, word of mouth, things like that. So definitely, there is definitely a market right now, but I do agree that it can be a little bit more challenging, but it definitely is doable.
Well, I will tell you, your Instagram is spot on. It's beautiful. It's well done. And so you are using social media effectively in that way. You can check out Malin at restingplantface.com, and that is also all of her social media handles. Thank you so much. Congratulations on your success.
Thank you so much. Thank you again for having me.
You bet. You bet. All right, Jenny, there you have it. We'll be back in just a moment. We are going to wrap it up here with your feedback on our Second Shot Express and one